Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer, and we are returning to our Let's Play of War in the West. It is November 6th, and we are doing the NCO landings at Lido di Roma and NCO, of course, here with the 9th and the 45th Infantry Division of the United States. So these guys are going to try to land over here and try to establish a bridgehead behind the German lines down here in southern Italy. So, let's hope that we can do that. That would cut off some of their rail supply, at least over here, I hope. So let's see whether that is going to work. I don't know yet. So yeah, I'm very excited to hit the next turn button. Before I do that, I want to shout out a couple of small things to you. And that is, we have... Whoop, that was a bit of a weird thing. So, I did find out why our units here weren't really resupplied. You can see still that, for example, the 1st Armoured Division down here isn't really supplied. And that is because the 5th Division here had a supply priority that was set to 2. So basically these guys were not being really supplied. It's unfortunate, but now I think we've got this a little bit more. So these guys are now set to resupply, and these guys here are also in refit mode. So these guys should be refitting a lot of their equipment. You can see there's a lot of damage here in these guys. So lots of fatigue, lots of yeah. Basically these guys are not doing good. Currently at a 6 value there. These guys here are also going to try to refit and recoup a couple of their material. These guys here should be doing that quite well since they are on the beachhead over here. So that should hopefully work out. So yeah, let's see whether the Germans are going to oppose our landings down here or whether they're in fact going to do anything, not going to do anything about that. I'm pretty sure that they will do something. What? I'm not sure about yet. So yeah, let's see. Maybe they might even withdraw from the entire front line. I do not know. Historically, these landings did of course go pretty horribly for the Allies. I think they were stuck here for about half a year or so. We certainly hope that we can be out of here a little bit faster. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is that we didn't get any big... Oh, they are trying to do some interceptions here, so that should make it more difficult for us to move in there. Nevertheless, we do have quite a couple of these areas here under our more or less firm control. So, let's see about this. I'm not sure just how easy we are going to get out of there. Germans are bringing in at least an infantry division to the front line over here, but they're probably going to redraw a lot of their forces, as we know they've done historically. Yeah, okay, look at that. They've got another division over here, another division up here. All of the other ones are slightly smaller, but that's kind of interesting to see. They're not doing any attacks though for now, so that is pretty nice and interesting to see for us. They're going to recombine all of this stuff. But yeah, I think for now, that's probably it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the situation here briefly. Then I'm going to get out of this and just put a cut in this to briefly look at the air setup. And then I'm going to return with the air setup, yeah. So we are losing a couple of men here. That's not great, but it's not the worst, literally. So yeah, I think that's going to be fine. So interesting situation up here. So we've got, let's look at what we've got over here. We've got the 94th Infantry Division and the 162nd Infantry Division here from the Germans, along with Fallschirmjäger Division, a Panzer Grenadier Division, a full one, and part of the 71st Infantry Division, and some Italian regiment here. Also interesting. So yeah, these guys are trying to oppose us. Some of these guys are also going a little bit to the rear here, including some construction battalion. That is interesting. I did not expect that. So they are trying to protect this port over here. We might have tried to land over here and push inwards. I don't know whether that is working. And let's briefly check on the map information here. And yeah, indeed, we have cut this rail line. So basically the only 2 rail lines that the Germans have now are these 2 here coming out of Rome. So if we can push to the north here, that would be fantastic. On this flank up over here, we are seeing relatively weak opposition here from part of the 71st Infantry Division. You guys are some reserve division, and then we've got a couple of Fallschirmjägers here in the town. Now the town itself is going to be tough, but oh yeah, look at that, 14. So these guys have more or less completely repaired over here. That's a fantastic shift here. And these guys up here, they're not quite as strong. Yeah, TOE still 65, so that's not quite as great. But you guys probably did draw a lot of supply, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Almost 10,000 freight received via these guys. A little bit lost, but all in all not that bad. mostly from Forja, but also down to Neapel, so that's interesting. So yeah, you're sending your supplies all the way from down here, all the way towards there. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see. A little bit of a bottleneck here, not too bad though. And we still got a little bit of supply stored into these bases down here. Not that much in Neapels, it's only 5,000 that's stored here. And in Forja it's about 54,000, so that's kind of okay. Toronto has got another 75,000, so yeah, we are pushing supply forward, and that's nice to see. And all in all, it seems to be looking fine for us. So yeah, that being said, I'm going to look at the air situation now, and I'm probably going to decide on whether we're going to try to push through here. We might want to try something about these mountains and maybe push through here, although I think down here would be the better choice. And if we can get into this valley and on towards Rome, that would be fantastic to cut off a lot of these guys down here. Likewise, we're going to try to get some more units into here. I think it will be very tough to break through here and potentially reallocate any of these guys. That just doesn't look viable for now. But on the other hand, we might also want to push forward down here in the south a little bit, just to reinforce our positions here and ultimately make them a little bit stronger. So, that being said, I'm gonna put in a brief cut here, and you guys can rejoin me once I have done all of the air setup. So, see you then. So then, here we are again. We've got our typical setup of air missions over here. So, basically on the Thurian Sea, we've got all of these naval patrols. They should enable us to bring more troops into this area up over here. That should be fine. And then going on from Rome, we've got a couple of Bomber Command missions here. From the 12th Bomber Command, these guys are here mostly to disrupt the Axis rail usage, in the hope of primarily disrupting supplies flowing forward. I'm not sure whether entirely that is going to work, but I have some hopes due to the fact that these units up here already show some signs of having very low supply. So maybe that's going to work, I don't know. We just might be hopeful over here. And then we've got a couple of other missions, as the strategic bombing mission of the 15th Air Force is still to strike the rail yards over here. Again, an effort to disrupt their supplies. And then we have two direct support missions. One is going to be tasked with this field up over here. So we are trying to break through this little gap here in the mountains. It's very hard to see, but the railway basically is leading through here. So hopefully we can cross over here and then into there. The other alternative would be to strike up over here. That would be the slightly slower route. I think it might be the more promising one actually, because these fortifications are... No, this is just the rough terrain. This is clear terrain. If we were to get over here, I think these guys would have to withdraw, for one thing, and secondly we would have a better avenue of attack into this field over here. So maybe it might just be more worthwhile to attack up over here as well. You know what we're going to do? We might split the difference over here. So, I mean, these guys are very few people, so you know what? We're going to try to strike directly here. And if we can cross into here, we are certainly going to make it up over here as well, so that might be fine. All of our troops are fairly nicely set up, so I'm going to be hopeful about that too, so that should all be okay. And then we've got another mission down here, which is going to try to strike at this guy. These are 2 divisions, or let's say 1.5 division down here. This might be a little bit tough, but maybe it's going to work out, and that would allow us to come across here. And maybe at least, you know, circle around these guys. So let's hope that that is going to work out. And that should be that. In the north, up over here, we've got a couple of missions on our strategic bombers. Of course, you can see basically winter approaching there. So before winter comes to us, we are going to send the 2nd bombing division down here into Stettin again to strike at the synthetic fuel refinery out there. That should be, hopefully... Can I get industry? There we are. Right. So... down here, you can see there's a synthetic fuel refinery yard, which isn't really damaged. Well, it's slightly damaged, but we really want to keep it down. And yeah, that would be great. So just try to strike that and try to disarm them a little bit, and that should be fine. Most of the US Air Force is going to go to Magdeburg, though. Magdeburg is a city that we haven't stricken yet. But as you can see, there's a little bit of synthetic fuel refinery going on. There's a bit of heavy industry. And there are some panzer works down here. I don't actually know which company is manufacturing them over here. I'll need to look that up in between episodes. But yeah, so that's what we're trying to strike over here. We are also going to strike a little bit the heavy industry and all of that. But primarily, really, the synthetic fuel refineries and the Panzer IV yards down here. Speaking of vehicles, we've got another strike here by Bomber Command, so our night bombers here from the Royal Air Force. They're going to strike Hanover. Mostly, I believe, the vehicle yards and secondarily the Panther factory over here. So yeah, let's see whether that is going to work out. It's going to be supported by an intruder mission here, trying to shoot down a couple of German night fighters, and that will be fine. So without further ado, let's execute all of this and see what is going to happen. Especially it will be interesting to see what is going to go down here in Italy, because Italy is of course really the area that we really want to strike. And you can see that we've basically gotten these guys from 50 down to 30 already. Now 30 is not great either, but at least it's definitely better than 50. 25 there, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, let's see how good all of these missions are going to go. I'm very intrigued. This one up there isn't going really as great as I would have hoped that it would. So that's slightly unfortunate. Yeah, 21. I mean, this is not great up there. So hopefully we are going to be able to strike them really up over there. This is not great. Okay, right. Let's have a look here. So this is the night intruder mission. We're shooting down quite a number of German planes, so that's nice to see. We're losing 2, they're losing 10. Yeah, I think these types of missions are one of the best things that we can do in terms of exchange rates. It's a fairly low-level war, but still it's nice to see that that is working out. Bomber Command, heavy losses as usual, 60 planes down here, but we are shooting down 25, so that is nice to see. Are we doing enough damage though to justify these types of losses? Well, it's hard to say. We're not really doing 2-digit heavy losses over here on any of these things really. So yeah, vehicle, well, I mean, we're striking them again and again, so it does add up, but at what cost? Overall, a so-so mission. I'm more and more disappointed by Bomber Command, honestly. Well, let's look at the Americans. We lost 60 planes over here, shot down 140, so that I'm very happy about. Look at this up over here. So in this single battle over here, or this single trail of missions, we apparently shot down how many airplanes? On their side, 26? No. Well, it just adds up over time, but yeah, look at that. So our losses are very significant over here, including some, interestingly enough, that they are using the Me-210 down here, which is one of the worst aircrafts that the Germans had in the war. But also they are losing, they've got 16 aircraft, 16 Bf-109s over here, and they are losing all of them. Yeah, this is really an altitude where they cannot perform quite as well. And they are just being obliterated over here. Who's really doing the damage? It's the Thunderbolts, interestingly enough. So yeah, look at that. When the Thunderbolts are in range, so the B-40s, P-47, they can do tremendous damage here. So that is very nice to see. But it is also interesting to see that they actually try to intercept us so close to the coast. That was actually a possibility. That just doesn't happen very often. So, nevertheless, you know what? I'm going to be happy about these exchange rates over here. We are doing some damage against the heavy industry, mostly it seems. Some against the Panzer Works. Yeah, it's a so-so success, I would say, in terms of the mission itself. Interestingly enough, Day 5 seems to be by far the best over here. I wonder why that is. We're flying recon missions on Day 1 and 4. It's not really that we've been intercepted less of... Well, we've been intercepted less with this mission up over here. Interesting, isn't it? So the second mission that was coming in, without any escorts, did so much better in this airstrike. Interesting to see. Let's look at 2nd Bomber Division first. So... No, this one over here. Okay, yeah, I thought for a second there we hadn't lost a single plane. Right, 33 planes lost against 13 of the Germans. That's not great. But very significant damage against the synthetic fuel refinery out. So yeah, I think that is a win. It's a hefty mission with the B-24s here, which are slightly more vulnerable than the B-17s. So yeah, I guess that's fair. But the extra range and payload is definitely worthwhile. Right, 50th Air Force, you guys are trying to strike ports and rail yards down there in Italy, so that's nice to see. Some manpower damage, that's not really what we're aiming for, but so be it. Yeah, but the rail yards, they are being disrupted over here, and that's nice to see. So that's good. That's fairly nice. Right, okay, so that's great. Then what else have we got? We've got all of the naval patrols down here along Albia. You guys are taking quite a bit of casualties here. We really need to bring in more fighters to protect these guys. This sort of loss rate is just not acceptable. Right, yeah, so we will need to deal with that. We've got the ground attack here by the 12th Tactical Air Force. So these guys were intercepting the units down there. And you were doing quite a bit of damage here, it seems. And you didn't really lose that much, so that's nice to see. And then what else have we got? We've got 12th Bomber Command down here. You are losing a couple of planes here in your various ground attacks. So you're attacking the railways over here. This is Wellington's being lost. And I think you're carrying P-38s? Yeah. So who's taking the damage over here? Well, some of these guys are being damaged, but they are also doing some damage in return, so that's a tough one. And it actually seems like the Wellingtons are doing a lot of the damage over here. It seems like most of the kills here were scored by Wellingtons, curiously enough. Well, not most of them, but quite a couple of them. So, interesting. Right, and then the other attack here was against the unit, so this one also went fairly well, I think, with 18 planes lost. That's kind of okay. I'm going to take these types of losses. Right, so big battles up over here. Interesting that we did so much damage over here. Oh yeah, rail are damaged. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Railway interdiction, railway interdiction. Yeah. That does make sense. Why don't we see that many strikes down here? Yeah, this one I'm really not as happy with. This one here is fairly nice, but all of the other stuff is a little bit more dubious in terms of value. Right, nevertheless, let's have a look at our ground forces here and what we can do with these guys. So, we have made our landings here at Anzio and Lido de Roma, so that is fairly nice and fairly fantastic actually. So I'm happy about that. Question is, how and which forces can we bring in now? So we've got a couple of forces stacked on here. We've got the 56th British Division, we've got the 8th Indian Division. These guys are pretty much earmarked to get down there, so that would be okay-ish. Why are you guys on ships? Oh, I think I just brought you over here because your target was really a little bit off. Right, let's see what we will do with these guys. We've got a couple of reinforcements down there, so that's nice. We've got a good number of tanks over here, so we will try to break through over here, and maybe alternatively try to break through across there if that just does work out for us. I'm also intrigued to whether or not we should be doing some landings down here at the Civitavecchia, or however you pronounce that area. So, don't think we're going to move out of our landing zones here. I think it's more important to reinforce them and try to expand that a little bit. We could potentially try to push to here, push them back a little bit, just make them more nervous in general in this vicinity. But on the other hand, with this 3rd Panzer Grenadier Division over here, I think these guys are fairly strong, so I don't really want to push my luck too much. So yeah, I don't think we're going to move out from the beachheads over here, which is, interestingly enough, which is very historical to, of course, what happened. So yeah, that's a bit that's a bit of a bummer. Right, okay. Nevertheless, let's bring in some troops then. Right, so we've got you guys down here. Who is actually the other guy that is potentially ready to engage? That's the 3rd Infantry Division. Right, so I suppose let's start with you guys over here, the 8th Indian Division. You guys are fairly strong, so I'm going to bring you into Lido de Roma, and there's a convoy that is being hit, and that's unfortunate. Oh, and I did bring both of you here. I did not mean to do that, and I cannot revert that move. Okay, so that's a bit silly, but there we go. Okay, so that's what we have right now. Good. Let's try to disembark you. I don't think we can disembark you, because you basically are on the ships for now. Okay, so that's fine though. Right, so that's slightly awkward, but there we go. Let's pretend that was all planned. Okay, you guys are down here as well, so let's bring you into here. Hope that no ship is being hit there. And I almost jinxed that, didn't I? So we've got 2 divisions landed down here now, and 2 divisions up here. I think we should try to bring in a headquarter unit. So what we're going to do here is return these guys and try to bring a headquarter unit into here. So which one would that be though? We've got basically a wild assemblage of different corps down here at the moment though. So I think the best might be to send in the 6th Corps over here. So let's send up these guys over here. Can I get you off the ships? Potentially not, because of the harbour. Yeah, the port is not, it's just not good enough. Okay, now let's grab you guys here and just make sure that you are on the 6th Corps now, so that you guys kind of all understand that. Can I assign more support units to you? No, I cannot. So let's put you onto 6th Corps. So that means just making sure that these guys all sort of understand where they're coming from and going to, and that it's sort of a little bit more localized there, and I think that should be okay. Right, so you are doing that, you're doing that, and you guys should be assigned to that as well. So there we go. Fairly nice lines of communication over here. We've just got these guys down here. You really shouldn't be assigned to that now, because you are probably... Yeah, let's just assign you towards global headquarters here for a second. So that just you have no undue command penalty here. And let's briefly look at your command as well. You're fairly good at infantry. You're fairly good overall, so I think we'll keep you. Let's just briefly have a look over here. So yeah, there's no one really who's that much better. Brigadier General Gavin over here would be kind of okay in infantry, but he's worth at administrative stuff. So no, we're going to keep you. You're fantastic. You are actually commanding all of this. So congratulations on commanding this very, very lovely position down here. Right, let's take a look at the outputs down here. We've got some Algerian infantry divisions down here. We've got you guys down here, so some special forces regiments. These guys are fairly cool. Their elements are including flamethrowers and all of that. So I think they're fairly nice at disrupting enemy fortifications and such. They're just not very good at moving out down here, so yeah, there's that. Right, you guys, you could move out a little bit, I suppose. The Algerian infantry division down here. Are you any good though? Morale 60. I think you're just not that great, actually. So I might actually want to push you up a little bit here to the north in more of a holding position, while everyone else is doing sort of the actual work. Right, we might want to put you here so that we've got something on our flank sort of in this direction. Yeah, I suppose that's fine. We're going to move up the infantry division as such, so we have some power over here. You guys are basically all doing fine. You guys are the railway repair unit. You want, since we are down here, let's just briefly take care of this. Connect up this line. That should be fairly lovely. Anything else that we do need to build up? I'm still thinking about this line here from Bari or from Brindisi to Bari, so that it can flow onwards to that direction. Not the worst idea, I suppose, so yeah, let's just simply go there. You don't have that many more movement points anyway. Right. Okay, so we've got you guys settled down here. We could start doing an attack down here. We could also try to bring you in before that. Question is, could we pull anyone down here before we do that? These guys are fairly strong. I suppose we could try to move you guys down there, right? That might work out fine. Pull you guys down here. That would leave this hex open. But these guys, well, they could move through. But would they? That's a tough question. We really think, I do think we do really need some more reinforcements. It's nice that we've got all of these Frenchmen, but it is going to take a while until we're really pulling them up until the front over here. So, yeah, that's a bit of an issue there. So, let's see. Well, I think we need to... Well, firstly, these Italians down here. Yeah, you could come all the way down here. And honestly, you are a little bit useless. Okay, so let's try to pull you down here first. Then formulate an attack plan over here against this position. We're losing 600 guys, they really aren't. So yeah, really not doing... This is really not a very impressive attack against them, it seems. So yeah, that's unfortunate. You guys could move up over there, but really not that much further. So that's a shame. Right, I don't think it does make sense to strike them again. Nevertheless, we probably did disrupt them a little bit. We are lacking engineers over here, I believe, though. So that is a bit of an issue. And you guys are a little bit shy on supply. You guys are okay on supply, on the priority down there. So I'm not too sure why that is not going as we intended. Yeah, nevertheless, that should be okay, right. Next thing that we do need to do, though, is pull these Italians down here into this position so that you're taking... Yeah, this is level 3 fortification, so I think you will be fine. Even if you aren't, we're probably not going to be overwhelmed here in our rear. Well, we can move you guys here too. Well, that would put you out of the range of these guys. Fine, we're not going to do that. Right, let's bring the Canadian... Ooh, you really can't move forward that much, can you? Yeah, the zone of control issue here really is kind of big. Right, how far could you go? You could go there basically and try to strike at them. These Fallschirmjägers down here really would be tough to try to dislodge. So yeah, but if we do move you guys down here, you would really not be able to attack. So pretty much we can only attack with our tanks. Attacking with tanks across the river, not the best idea that we've ever had, honestly. So maybe no. We could get one of these tanks down here to try to soften up this position as well. I mean, that would definitely be an enormous boost to the forces down here. But I really think we are struggling to make some progress up here. So that should really remain our priority, I think. We still need to cover our advance here as well. So that being said, I don't think it makes sense to try to push against these guys. And what have we got really in terms of our strength? So we've got 22 against 19. We've got 30 maybe. Okay, let's bring forward these tanks as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to strike with all of these guys over here against this position. Oh, and we can only do a hasty attack anyway. Ooh, this is not good. This is not good at all. The conservative attack would be here in the north. Oh, this is a tough one. This is really a tough one. If we do strike these guys, I'm fairly confident that we can move someone in that would dislodge these guys, and it would enable us to attack here next time. If we attack just here, it just might not be enough to really dislodge them. Why are they so much stronger here anyway? Have they better fortification? It's just the rough terrain. Tough one. Tough one. I'm mindful about the position down here, but I do think we need to be a little bit more conservative. So I'm going to attack up over here. These guys are going to retreat. That's a fairly nice win over here. That's a very good result for us. So we could push up these guys and they would have 5 movement points. Who's got the most of you guys? Also the British. Right, we have got a chance to completely cut these guys off over here. We could also try to strike to the north over here. I mean, the Germans are trying to build up some fortifications around Rimini, so I think that would be fairly fantastic. On the other hand, we could also still try to get across over here and then attack into this side of these units. I'm thinking that these Fallschirmjägers, they will probably make it out here. I mean, they still got the port, so they'll probably evacuate via sea. At least what I would do. So I don't think it will be completely viable to cut them off entirely, but we can and will cross over here. And then we could do a deliberate attack over here, but that just doesn't seem viable at all. Well, we can't do a hasty attack here from multiple directions. So a hasty attack is only possible from a single direction. So basically that would be a no-no. Can we move the Americans across here? No, you're basically locked in place. And I can't do a coordinated attack here from both sides. So that's a pity. I could bring these guys forward and we'd have 14 attack value assembled on this side of the river and potential to strike into either direction over here. These guys will have a hard time withdrawing anyway, so I don't think they will attack. So that's good. We've got all of you guys over here. We've got no further defensive units that can support us over here. So if we move out these tanks, we basically have a small gap here in our lines. I don't think it's a critical gap, but it would be a gap. Yeah, nevertheless, I do think the best approach would be to come across the river over here, get both of these guys, and do, well, at least try to do an attack down here. Okay, so 155 because they've got level 2 fortifications. They are being scouted. We are losing quite a couple of men and quite a couple of other things down here. They are losing a couple of guns though. And still we had been boosted to quite a high number there. Could I do another hasty attack with both of you? I could not. I can do another hasty attack with both of you guys. I cannot. So, yeah, okay, that does show us that we have some limitations up over here. Can I do a hasty attack in this direction? No, not at all. Only with you. Okay, these guys are beaten anyway, so let's try to double stomp on them. Yeah, there we go. They are retreating without any further issue from us over here. They're not even losing. We are not even losing a single guy over there. So that means we could try to push across here and make life a little bit more hard on these Fallschirmjägers. It wouldn't be much, but it would be making life harder for them. Otherwise they're going to try to break out and limit us over here. This way we could feint at least into this direction, and if they are going to withdraw, they would need to withdraw via sea. So we have some flexibility here, depending on which direction we want to move. It's a pity that these guys here weren't affected more, honestly. Right, we've still got you guys. You could try to attack this part of the Fallschirmjäger division. These are probably sort of elite German troops, so that would be nice in a way. We really do need to try to limit any incursion here though. You guys need to move up into here though, so that you can support all of these guys. I think that does work out. You really shouldn't be in refit. Right, okay, so I suppose this is fine. We could move up over here, but there would be 40 movement points, and I want to retain the ability to strike into this direction. So, yeah, we're going to leave them over there. I think that's fine. What we can do is take all of you guys, do a deliberate attack over here. I think we should try to get them to retreat. That's fine. We're losing about 100 men here. All in all, not the worst, I would say. That does enable us to move up a little bit. It's basically not a big deal, but it does allow us to... I can't move you up. That's a pity. Right, let's try to move you up a little bit. That should give us some extent of cover over this direction. Right, and then we've got the railway repair guys. So that's you. My idea was to build you up in this direction, and that should work, I think. So, yeah, at least we shouldn't be left on an unguarded hex. So that is fine, I suppose. And notice there's no like hard benefit to us moving in this direction with the rail line yet. Once we get this depot, or this harbour, we might build a depot over there. That would work, and at least we have some strategic mobility now, so we could also use the railway actually to resupply some guys here. That might work. I'm not too sure that we're going to use that yet, but fine. Let's move the course here into the depot. I think that's nice too. Basically everyone except you, you're going to be one behind. That's okay. 5th US Army, you guys are basically controlling these guys down there. Well, that's fine, I suppose. I think I can get you into Naples then, so that you're sort of controlling that avenue. That's fine and lovely indeed. So yeah, oh, we've got some units up over here. Now I would actually like to move you guys back so that we have these French units here and can move them out. On the other end, I really would like to get this port down here. Level 4 port, that would be fantastic. You know what? I think this port down here is actually better. So we're going to move down here. We're going to try to get that port. And if we have to evacuate up here, that's fine. This port is better. We can just keep that one. And that should be doable with these units. So that is fine. We've got another unit up here. These guys could be moved out at a moment's notice to any further landing. So that's fine. And so we've got one unit to reinforce a potential landing. We've got one unit to do the actual landing. These guys are just, let's get rid of this view, that's fine. You are sort of tiny, so we could potentially send up this division. Oh, we do need to move up the core down here though, which we can do. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's move it up down here. So you're going to be covered by these guys, that's fine. Surprising that you have such good supply. Yeah, you're going to be supplied from this, but I think not for much longer, so that's fine. You guys could move out next turn. If we want to do that, we need to basically load you onto the ships already. And then we could move down here. It is tempting to just make it a little bit harder for them, but I'm afraid that these guys would not be able to support each other very well. I'm afraid that they're going to reinforce this position here extremely strongly, and we're going to have a hard time to break through over here unless we can consistently break apart their fortifications. This little bulge over here is tying up some troops too, but I mean, they are looking kind of strong over here, so let's keep them for now. All of these infantry divisions here will be locked in place to some degree, so that's not great, but I think it will be fine. And you guys would have a hard time to break through up until here. You're still capable of disrupting our supplies if you attack there, but I think we can take that risk. All of these air units down here, and yeah, and then we do need to get the French from down here. I think a couple of these guys here will be fairly lovely, because a lot of these guys here are sort of these smaller regiments or divisions or brigades or whatever. So they're not the strongest, but I think they're good enough to hold basically the center of our line as we're trying to push in on the flanks. Kind of unsuccessfully down here in the south, a little bit more successfully up here in the north, so all of that's fine. The other alternative, instead of landing down here, would be to continue to reinforce these positions down here and just try to disrupt them a little bit more, expand our beachheads and just be a little bit more aggressive in trying to disrupt them down here. That might actually be the better proposition than having them sort of being on both flanks here, trying to cover sort of everything at the same time. That being said, this is a nice position to try to expand from. If we cut the rail lines down here, all of these Germans will be trapped. You know what? I think I'll ponder this question a little bit because this episode has been going on for a while. And you guys are going to rejoin me next time when I do decide on whether we're going to click on that button and do a secondary landing up over here. I know it's very aggressive, but I do think we are making some good progress here, especially on this flank here. Also a very aggressive move. I know. This is a Fallschirmjäger division, so these guys are tough. But on the other hand, they've been basically sort of semi-cut off, so if they're not going to retreat, I think they're going to be in trouble down here. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Do let me know what you think about our ground attacks here. Hope to see you around next time. Bye bye.